Hello my friends, welcome to a new video. Today I'm going to do a comparison between the Logitech G923 and the MOZA R5. A lot of people, if I look on Facebook, they change from their old Logitech device and go to a MOZA R5. And I was wondering if this was such a good decision.
Both the MOZA and Logitech come in a package with a wheelbase, steering wheel and pedals. Because of the use of metal in the casing of the R5, the quick release system and design, the MOZA just looks less like a toy than the Logitech. Both the steering wheels are clad in leather. For the Logitech it is a perforated layer of mumu, and for the MOZA a more silky smooth layer. The finishing of the leather on the R5 is just a little better done than the G923. When it comes to the buttons, both are quality. The layout on the MOZA is perhaps a bit cleaner, but nonetheless both score well on this. The shifters also are equally good, precise, not too loud and satisfying to use. The pedals on both bases look good. The complete metal finishing of the MOZA does give it a bit more of a premium feeling, but the styling of the Logitech makes up for a lot.
If you look at the wheelbases, of course, the technology that comes in the MOZA is far superior than what you have in the Logitech. MOZA direct drive 5.5 Nm max torque, which is plenty. You have the 2.4 Nm max torque in the Logitech, gear driven. And that, my friends, is a big difference when you drive. Other differences, of course, the casing. You have the plastic casing of the Logitech and the metal cube of MOZA, so a small form factor. This can also be important for people. And something very important too is that you can exchange the steering wheel of the MOZA, and you can't do that, at least not out of the box, with the Logitech one. That are a bit the main differences between the wheelbases.
Important here is that you have to take into account that the bigger, more heavier wheel will have its effect on the performance of your MOZA wheelbase. For those that want to add that beautiful new trucker wheel from MOZA, the force feedback might be a bit too little with R5.
For the pedals, well, yeah, you have the obvious differences. You have the plastic casing of the Logitech versus the metal frame of the MOZA R5. You have the 3-pedal base on the G923 and the 2 pedals for the R5. And also, and that is probably the most important thing, is that the potentiometers in the G923 versus the Hall sensors in the pedals that come with the R5. And that is a big difference. It measures just more accurately the distance that you push in your pedals. It's not load cell yet, okay, but I think for pedals also MOZA is a bit superior.
As always, I take both the wheelbases to the track and see what it is like to drive them. In ACC, the MOZA just blows the G923 out of the water with its force, smoothness and accuracy. But also the amount of detail in the force feedback when you brake or pass through corners is significantly better in the R5 than it is in the G923. The graininess in steering wheel movement that you experience with the Logitech is also non-existent with the MOZA. The tinkering with the software to get the right sensation can be a bit more tricky, but I can't think of one thing that would make me choose the G923 over the R5. It sounds like the G923 is really horrible to drive, but it's not really. It remains a very subtle and supple ride with it, but the difference between direct drive and gear driven is just too big. When it comes to the pedals, I think the MOZA pedals are pretty well balanced for sentiment and would prefer them over the G923. But not by that much. When it comes to precision, I would say that the MOZA pedals are a bit more precise, but again, not spectacular. In BeamNG, the MOZA delivered the same experience, very direct input with good sensation when braking and the ability to take the corners sharp and precise. The smooth leather steering wheel glides through your hands when you take the corners. The grip disappears when your brakes lock up and you steer into a corner. all is so fluent with the R5. The MOZA again gives the best simulation, but in this game the difference of performance is masked somewhat by the use of true force with the G923. The conclusion for the pedals in this game would be the same as with ACC, but here the advantage is for the G923 since it has the clutch pedal, and yeah, I always drive with the shifter in BeamNG.
Looking at the price, we have €550 for the MOZA R5 and €280 for the Logitech G923. This is just via retailer here in my region, so not via the official webshop of MOZA or Logitech. It is quite a difference already, yeah? So the price, it is twice the price of the MOZA than the Logitech, and yeah, that is something to take into consideration because it still is a starter's wheel. When we look at the software, well, okay, there is no comparison. It is MOZA all the way. The settings that you have in the MOZA Pithouse software, yeah, you can really tune the driving sentiment completely to yourself. For Logitech, it is just too simplistic. Okay, the out-of-the-box settings are okay, and you can change, of course, a bit in the game settings. But yeah, for customization, the software of MOZA is just far superior. The ecosystem is interesting. MOZA has different steering wheels, MOZA has the shifter, MOZA has the handbrake, MOZA has other pedals, upgrades for pedals, whatever you want, even a display, they have everything. Logitech has a shifter. For the G923 they have a shifter, and that is about it that you can get. So yeah, also here a clear winner, it is MOZA.
In the end, what I want in a starter base is that it is cheap. I mean, I'm not even sure if I will be sim racing or sim driving 3 months from now. I prefer to pay as little for a starter base as is necessary to experience the drive. Going by this, the Logitech base has the upper hand. Both new and second-hand price are absolutely dominating new and second-hand MOZA wheelbases. But there are also some extra variables to take into account. Price is not everything. It is clear that when asked what the best base is, 99% of the people you ask would say that it is the R5. And they are absolutely right. It features the ability to exchange the steering wheel or buy an upgrade for the pedals. This combined with the build quality and force in that little frame deliver an excellent first eco drive experience. So, if you want to have the smoothest, most precise, powerful experience, the MOZA R5 has the upper hand.
Another thing would be the type of games you drive. Are you like somebody that likes iRacing or Assetto Corsa Competizione? Well, you're better off with a MOZA R5. Are you, however, someone like me that just is a sim driver and not a sim racer? Then I think you are better off with the cheaper Logitech G923 with the True Force in it, because it just adds the extra dimension. And to be fair, when I was driving in BeamNG with the R5, I felt competitive. I wanted to have the best time. When I was driving in BeamNG with the Logitech, I was just enjoying the ride and listening to the rumbling of the revving when I pushed the accelerator. So there is really a big difference in the games that you play, which dictates which is a good base for you to buy.
A last thing would be that Logitech still has the advantage of platform compatibility too. If you want to drive a console, the choice between these two is very easily made. At the moment I made this video, the MOZA R5 has no console compatibility yet. So to come back to if it is a good decision to upgrade to a MOZA R5 from the Logitech G923, yeah, I have the feeling it is more a side grade than an upgrade. Basically, the MOZA R5 is technically one of the best, but also the most expensive wheelbase in the starter category for PC. It's good, don't get me wrong, But if you decide to spend some money on an upgrade for sim driving hardware, there are better alternatives in the middle class for the same money or even less that will give you that bit extra that you want. But what if this is your first wheelbase? Well, yes, in most cases a direct drive base will be giving you the best experience. There are, however, exceptions where the best wheelbase is not the smoothest, most precise and powerful, but where it depends more on an extra feature. There is a Thrustmaster TGT that trumps the Fanatec GT Pro when it comes to the driving immersion in the Gran Turismo games. And there is a Logitech G923 that is serious competition for any game that has a good implementation of the True Force.
Thank you all for watching. I hope you had something from this video. Leave a like if you did. If you want to see more videos, just subscribe, and I will see you all next video. Bye bye.